Thanks for staying with us. This is Newsline. I'm talking to Mr. Tsang Yok-sing, who's the president of the Legislative Council. Mr. Tsang, right, before the break, we talked about minimum wage. This is going to be a very hot issue. What is going to be the level, whether some say it's going to be $28, $29 an hour. The unions are not very happy with that. But the other issue, in fact, there are many issues that are now in Hong Kong that make many people feel we have become a very polarized, very divided society. You, as the president of the Legislative Council, you see that when you chair meetings, when you have council meetings, you've got the politicians on both sides, and you've got people like the Democratic Party and long hair and so on, and they're saying we've become a very divided society, the rich against the poor, and that's why they throw things bananas at the chief executive and disrupt your meetings, and you have a hard time trying to get them back into order again, right? But you tell me this, as the president, you can look down there and you see all the legislative members, they are representing their different constituencies.
Yes.
You must get the view that there are many people who feel we have a very divided society in Hong Kong now, right? Property prices as well. People can't afford to buy homes.
But of course, that's the reality. We have, people are not happy with the government. People are not happy with the public policies for various reasons. I mean, there have been numerous debates in the Legislative Council on issues like the wealth gap, and of course, as you pointed out, property prices. I believe that that will be one important issue the chief executive will have to deal with in his new policy address. And by the way, the new legislative session will begin with the policy address.
That's correct.
And everybody's waiting. Everybody's waiting. This reminds me of the situation back in 1997, when everybody was waiting for the then chief executive Tung Chee-hwa to make his first policy address. And you remember, again, the property market had been going wild that year. And everybody was waiting for Mr. Tong to come up with measures to sort of cool down the property market. And none of us came up with these
new policies for
85,000
home ownership flats, and that killed the market. Yeah.
And but to be fair, when Mr. Tong first announced this policy, he's not going to take any really tough measure, but was going to make sure that there will be enough supply. Everybody thought that was not enough. Everybody thought that it would be useless. Could not sort of cool down the property market. And then, of course, the Asian financial crisis, and then
and then that's history. But you tell me this, Mr. Tsang, do we have a very polarized society now?
We do. I think it is an undeniable fact that the gap between the rich and the poor has been widening in the past decade or so.
And it's an unfair society.
Well, maybe there are, compared with other societies, compared with places elsewhere, we may not be the most unfair society. Even compared with those with full democracy.
Okay.
Right? But then people are not happy. This is.
How do you fix that? How do you make that so we can narrow the wealth gap? Do we have a society in Hong Kong where the property developers are too powerful for us?
How do we fix that? Ask the chief executive, or ask the prospective future chief executives. Huh?
But you don't have any. I mean, okay. People say the property developers are too powerful. The prices are being jacked up.
Let me tell you this. Personally, of course, I have my own views and I have my very strong feelings about, the housing policy, about the property market in Hong Kong. But my colleagues in the Legislature will scream at me the moment I start talking about,
But these are your personal views.
These are personal views, and the Legislature president is deprived of the right to speak his personal views on any controversial public policy. That
But I can still ask you, Mr. Tsang, do you think that the property developers are too powerful, that we need to start cooling the market? Because you're having a situation where people are either living in government-subsidized homes or nowhere, because they have to pay very high rents or buy houses that they can afford.
I guess
They're being squeezed.
I guess I won't be breaking any rules if I tell what most people will accept as the truth,
and the truth
reality.
Is, yeah.
The truth is, of course, we all see that the big developers in Hong Kong, they are very powerful. But this is one thing.
Absolutely.
The truth is that I think the government is much more worried about any unfavorable factor to the property market than the fact that many people are paying
exorbitant rents or can afford to buy
prices.
a home. Yeah.
Right?
So they
The fact is, many people, in a well-developed economy like Hong Kong, right, we still have many people, many families living in terrible conditions,
in cage homes and
in shameful
Sure, absolutely.
conditions. And this is the reality.
But you're then saying, Mr. Tsang, which is many people have said that the government would rather not have an unfavorable reaction to the property market than to help the people get homes. That's not a very good leadership government, because they have put more priority on protecting developers.
I believe
than
that
people.
every government has its own beliefs. We have repeatedly been told by the government, it's a firm believer
in the free market.
In the free market, right? Minimum government intervention. Any, of course, in an area like the property market, you can't really have free competition.
Because
Free competition.
there is no free.
Everybody can see that.
There is no free competition.
Everybody
There is
can
a
see that.
monopoly here with a few property developers.
And if we look back throughout the past decades, actually the property market is one area in which the government